Good morning. I am excited today to talk a little bit about customer experience as it relates to customer service. So I kind of was inspired a little bit by this with seeing that Apple had released another update to its iOS 13 platform. That makes, I think, 5 since it was released. And that kind of made me feel good, as it's a company that is, has unlimited resources and still has to put products out maybe a little early than they're ready and do a lot of bug fixes and patches. Definitely here at Cloud App, we've had some product updates this year that we've put out and have had to do some updates and other things. And, with that comes a lot of people complaining when things are broken, which is, rightfully said, because you kind of get used to having a product working. And then when it doesn't, it makes it really hard. So I saw some examples of some good ways to kind of manage that from both your company side and also your customer side. So one, it's that we're all customers as well as business runners. So kind of obviously the old adage of put yourself in the customer's shoes is helpful. We've all been in an experience where a product hasn't worked or a service that we had signed up for wasn't working, and we've had to engage with customer service or connect with someone from that company to fix the problem. And one thing I loved that I saw from the Cloud App CEO, Scott Smith, this past week, as we had some outages with Cloud App with some of our servers, is that he personally reached out to a few people, that were very dissatisfied and upset, rightfully so. And he said, hey, let's do a quick Zoom call and connect. And, I can hopefully answer any of your questions and concerns that you're dealing with. And that's kind of the first thing is don't shy away from that conflict. Know that especially if you're a SaaS business, but also in retail and travel and every industry, you're going to run into issues. It's not always going to be perfect. Customers are going to be upset at things. And I think expectations on the customer side have never been higher for SaaS and other retail business, as everyone's putting a focus on experience. So know that those conflicts are going to come up and don't shy away from them. Don't just sweep them under the rug or think that if you don't respond, it'll go away. Usually it just festers. So we have a customer support team here at Cloud App, and they're working regular business hours and not working weekends currently. So we aren't, we're a small company, so we don't have 24/7 customer support quite yet, like a lot of large companies might. And so sometimes we'll get people that will reach out like on a Friday afternoon, and they won't get touched in the queue, and then they'll kind of stew over the weekend and maybe complain on social networks and things. So that's definitely not something you want to have. But when that does happen, and it will, try and connect with those people one-to-one and see how you can make things better. So a couple of tips are allowing the people to talk. Don't try and a lot of times, it's actually a little bit like a marriage or relationship, is that sometimes either party doesn't necessarily want something immediately fixed. Sometimes they just want to be listened to. So allow customers to talk. Definitely be in a mindset of caring. As at Cloud App, we're such a small company. We have around 3 million users, but we need every single one of them. Feedback is critical to kind of us advancing and growing, and we need kind of those loyal customers. And so we have kind of a culture of caring, because we really can't lose those customers. We need them, and we want them. We want them to be a part of what we're growing over here. Definitely use good tone. and try and be neutral to everything and don't react. So you don't want it to turn into an experience where you're taking things personally. You kind of need to take your mindset out of the product is your baby and you're trying to defend it. More so, put yourself in a user perspective of, hey, this costs me time and money at my business, and that's not something I want to be acceptable. Have full attention and focus if you need to. If you're like on a Zoom call with a customer or connecting with someone, have your Slack notifications turned off. Be focused and attentive, and really look for ways to connect directly. One thing also is really trying to move those like angry conversations, which happen a lot of the time on social media these days, is moving those to a different forum, making them a little bit more private. So you can move those to a one-to-one like phone call on Zoom, or if you can take care of it on email, find a place that you can have more of a one-to-one conversation versus them having a one-to-many conversation. I liked this tip I learned from an article a while ago too, was to set limits. So it's good to have kind of an established time limit that you can have, and understand that you both are going to try and resolve that conflict, and then have established like next steps. So if you aren't able to resolve the concern or fix the issue on the phone call or on the Zoom call or over email, have next steps so they don't feel like, basically, so it can build momentum. So you want to be able to have your conversation and then have it continually to resolve. So like I mentioned the other day, Scott was talking with the customer, and he's great at doing this, and was able to resolve the concerns. And then those persons become loyalists again. Like we've had people where Scott's done this, or our customer support team has done this, and they will delete their social post, or they'll repost on social and say, hey, I was upset, and glad I've resolved everything, and still a very loyal customer. So it provides that opportunity to really turn that direct detractor, like I mentioned, into a loyalist. And that's what you really want. You want to have a customer focused business where you're really driving on feedback, and your roadmap is tied to that. And it really provides some urgency to not have a lot of downtime, because you want to continually focus and provide that value to your customers so that they want to keep using you and kind of grow with you. So to kind of recap, a couple of tips is definitely allow the customer to talk, show you care, use good tone, focus, try not to react, look for ways that you can connect with them and provide next steps, and make sure that the issue is resolved and that you have clear next steps for them. So they aren't, feeling maybe like it wasn't resolved, and then they try and connect with you again on email and you aren't responsive. It could end up being worse than it was before. So those things can all be helpful to build that experience and help people at the, really bottom of the funnel, where they've hopefully had a good experience through all the other paths. And then once you get to customer support, you're, immediately resolving those concerns so that they can be a helpful customer and can help continue to contribute to the value of your business. So hopefully those things are helpful. Definitely add to the conversation if you have any comments, and look forward to talking to you all again next week. Thanks for joining. See ya.